Alright, I am going to give you my version on how to cook Maryland crabs. In particular, how to steam them. I caught, I don't know, it was about 4 dozen crabs this morning. I haven't counted them yet. And now we are going to cook them up. When you cook crabs, remember you're steaming them, you're not boiling them. You want your water when you're cooking it. You want it like your throttle on your propane gas. You want full throttle. You want it wide open. This is my crab cooker. It's an old powder keg. Has a lit riser in it. You know, you need something to get the crabs off the bottom, so they're actually steaming. When I do my crabs, I do them with a quart of water. And I do a beer, and then also I'll do a mix of like 50-50 apple cider and white vinegar. And when I do that, I put that over top of the crabs. I'll do less than a quart, like 2 or 3 cups, maybe a pint of the vinegar solution. So now, before I put the crabs in, I am going to turn on the propane and get my water coming up to a boil. All right, here we go. So I like to use JO #2 seasoning and my vinegar. So when you put your vinegar in, I don't add my vinegar right into the pot. You could, but I like to pour the vinegar over the crabs and then season them. And I find when you do it that way, the seasoning sticks to the crabs better. So I'm just gonna give that a minute to come up. It's going pretty high, so it'll get going pretty fast. Yeah, you can definitely feel the heat. So these are old powder kegs. I got a couple of them. If you ever find one at an antique show or auction or something, pick it up. They work great. Mine has a born on date, May in 1971. I have another one up in the roof of the barn attic that is like, it's like 1953. So these came out of Indian Head. I mean, there was many of one of these came into southern Maryland as crab cookers over the years. Those are crabs. They're mixed. I caught them on the trot line this morning. They're a mix of #1s and 2s. Oh, as nice as this. But there's definitely some good ones in there. So, let's start adding them. I kind of layer them in there about every 15, 16 crabs. And one of the things when you're cooking crabs, you definitely don't want to cook the water out of the bottom of your pot. Burn your crabs. Make sure you have enough in there to do it. That's 48 crabs in there now. Alright, so I had 56 crabs. A little bit for the table. So they're in there, seasoned up. Lid's on. It's 5:41. Looking at my phone. So these are going to take. I like to see it start to steam. A little steam coming up, and roughly once you see the steam, no more than 20 minutes. You know, I'll check it even just a little bit before, see if the aprons start to open. So I would expect we'll start seeing steam here really fast. In all, 25 minutes it should take you to cook your crabs if you got them cranked up. You know, you don't want this to be boiling lazy. You want a hard boil in that bottom. You know, you're not just trying to stew them. You want that water to evaporate and steam off. All right, we'll pause it for a little bit. All right, we're back on. My phone says it's 5:45, so about 5 minutes from when I put the lid on it. You can start to see this steam is starting to come off the pot. So we're right at that point now where I like to start my timer. You know, 20 minutes these crabs will be done. So, you know, 6:05, they should be good to go. And yep, once again, yeah, make sure you're running your pot at full blast, your tank, you know, your cooker. You have to get as much heat to these as you can to make sure they're steaming. Otherwise, you might be like, oh, my crabs are mushy. What did I do? And it's probably because you didn't actually steam them. You boiled your crabs, or kind of stewed your crabs. So we are definitely steaming. You can see it really coming up there now. So we'll let it go, and I'll turn the video on about 15 minutes or so. So it's 5:52. I'm just about 10 minutes into the steam. It's really steaming hard now, and that's what you want. If you're not seeing that steam coming up, your crabs are going to not taste very good. So that is just, I know I keep reiterating it, but that is what you need to have really good crabs. You really need that pot to be putting off that steam. And if you're not having that steam, you need to turn the temperature up. We'll pick back up in about 10 minutes. All right, we are getting close here. 6:03, so I think I got about 3-4 minutes left on these to go. At this point, you know, you really got to keep an eye on your crabs. Make sure you still got steam coming, and you need to smell your crabs. Make sure you don't smell anything burning. You don't want to boil all your water out, and then your bottom of your pot starts to burn, right? And you would smell that. So definitely don't walk away from them at this point. You know, you don't know how much water's left in, how much is cooked off, but if you put a quart and, you know, a beer and another pint of your vinegar and liquids, you're good to go. Some people even add 2 beers, depending on the pot. So just keep that in mind. Make sure you're watching and smelling. You definitely don't want to smell anything burning. All right, we're getting right about the 20-minute mark. So we're going to use it. I like to use an old welding glove when I open that lid up. Make sure the steam don't hit you in the face. They're kind of just looking. Just looking at these, see if that apron is lifting off. They're not quite ready. Give another minute or 2. And sometimes I'll let that steam build up for just a minute or 2, and just, if they're not quite there like these, I just turn the pot off and just let them sit that last couple minutes, and those aprons will be popping. All right. All right. I think at this point we are done here. I am going to turn the gas off, and I will just let them sit there for a minute, and we'll pop the lid. All right, we have been letting them sit for about 10 minutes, so they should be good to go. Pull the lid off. Oh yeah. Sorry about that racket. I usually come out tomorrow morning and I just pressure wash mine off. Yeah, I check them so the aprons are popping right off. So, and you see how by putting that vinegar on top of them instead of just pour it in the bottom of your pot. See how these crabs are nice and seasoned. You know, the seasoning just sticks to it so much better when you pour the vinegar on top of your crabs. So it's just a good tip when you do it. So with that, I'm gonna turn the camera off and I'm gonna go eat my crabs. Enjoy.